بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا وسهلا بكم في هذه الجلسة الشيقة، الجلسة الثانية من برنامج وجهة الذي يعنى بالتوجهات الجديدة في ريادة الأعمال والاقتصاد الرقمي. في هذه الجلسة بإذن الله تصحبنا الفنانتين شيماء أميا، أهلا وسهلا، والفنانة عائشة البكري، أهلا وسهلا. في حلقة تعنى بالصناعات الإبداعية والحرفية، وهي إحدى أهم الصناعات في أي اقتصاد وطني، وتشكل عالميا حوالي 500 بليون دولار أمريكي، ويتوقع أن تنمو خلال العام 2022 إلى 800 بليون دولار أمريكي. في السلطنة لدينا حوالي 24 ألف رائد عمل مسجل في الصناعات الإبداعية الحرفية. وتكون محاورنا اليوم ستركز على الطلب العالمي وكيف اتجاهه في مجال الصناعات الإبداعية الحرفية، كما سنتطرق عن أهم التحديات والحلول التي يمكن أن تحسن من مجال الصناعات الإبداعية الحرفية، كما سنتحدث حول الاتجاهات الاستثمارية في مجال الصناعات الإبداعية الحرفية. وكان لنا حديث شيق قبل هذه الجلسة حول بعض التحديات وبعض الحلول، ولكن قبل أول محور من محاورنا اليوم نحب أن نشكر صالة آلاء الدين والسليمي على استضافتنا في هذه الصالة الجميلة. كما أحب أن أشكر كثير من الصناعات الحرفية وروادها المجتهدين معنا في السلطنة، وأخص بالذكر بعضهم مثل الحرفي المبدع، ومثل هذه الصناعات الحرفية التي توجد معنا في السلطنة. أعتقد أنها يمكن أن تصل للعالمية، ولكن يمكن أن تحتاج إلى ممكنات محددة بنتحدث عنها مع ضيوفنا الكرام بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى. والجدير بالذكر أن ما نتكلم عن الصناعات الحرفية واحدة من أهم المواضيع هو ما هي هذه الصناعات الإبداعية الحرفية وما هو تعريفها. هل هي الفضيات والسعفيات والملابس والأمور الأخرى التقليدية، أم أن هناك تعاريف جديدة يمكن أن نضيفها إلى قطاع الصناعات الحرفية؟ هذه كانت مقدمتنا البسيطة، ولكني أتطلع لسماع آراء شيقة جدا. ونبدأ مع الأستاذة شيماء أميا. أهلا وسهلا بك.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
It has been really a pleasure to know your background as an artist for the past 16 years.
Yes.
And to know about that you have done your degree in fine arts in Soro University in
Yes.
Tehran.
Yes.
And you have established your business here, and thank you for choosing Oman as a base for you as a creative artist. And not only that, I've also learned that even during COVID, you ventured into around 4 galleries between solo and with other artists as well.
Yes.
And we'll be very interested to know maybe let's start from the beginning, the definition.
Yes.
When we say creative industries, can we also include crafts industries in that?
Yes. Yes, I think we can also include it. Yes.
How so? What is craft industry for you, and what is creative industry?
For me, actually, creativity is first things. If I want to say about the art and the crafts, handicrafts, like general, I think creativity is the first thing for an artist. If I want to call myself I'm an artist, I have to be creative.
Yes.
I mean, everyone has a creativity, but the way how you find it and the way
everyone has a creative side.
Yes, yes, but you have to find it, and the way how you want to show to people, that's really important, I think. And for me, always I was looking for creativity and to be creative, for my jobs, for the pieces which I want to make, when I want to think, and always I'm trying to find the way to be creative.
Yes.
You know, I don't want to do same things always, and I don't want to copy always. As an artist, of course, sometimes you will copy. For me, I will copy also, but just to learn.
Yes.
For example, if I see you as like a ceramist artist, because I call myself, I'm a ceramist artist. If I see my friends or any other ceramist artists, if I see they are doing something in a new way, you know, I want also to practice. I want to also know about that way, because for me it's new. So I will start to copy, you know, but not copy for myself, just to practice. But then after that, I will try to find my own way.
Yes.
You know, for me, this is very important. I don't like, you know, I think all of us as artists, we have to find our way, our touch, our signature.
and you know يعني وذكرتي انه كل هناك في كل انسان في جانب ابداعي. فهل كل فنان وكل مبدع هو ايضا مبتكر وهو رائد؟ So you mentioned that all of us have a creative side.
Yes.
So is it safe to say, is every creative also an innovator by, you know, adding something new to what they create?
Yes, 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 it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Always I'm saying, in my field, you know, in the ceramics, when people asking what's your job, and I say I'm a ceramics artist, you know, I'm a potter, the first thing it will come to their mind is pot. Just,
Yes.
oh, are you just making pot, or like making a cup, or making like a plate?
Or a pomegranate.
Or the pomegranate, yes. These things always, the first thing is coming to the mind, you know, as a ceramist, as a potter or the ceramics artist. But this field is much bigger, you know. But it depends to me as an artist how I want to show, you know.
Yes.
This is the way I have to be creative. I really like the culture, and always I'm using the multicultural items. When I came to the Oman first, I remember I was just searching for the galleries and the museum, because for me, always there is a question. If I want to do something for the culture, you know,
Yes.
where should I go first? Museum. Yeah, I will go to the museum, I will see. And then I'm thinking, okay, I will see this part in the museum. If I make the same, you know, you say, okay, you just made something which is available in the museum. So what I can add to this piece to just make it, we can just update it,
Yes.
you know. So this time it's my time as an artist to be creative, you know, to
Yes.
think about it. Okay, I will see these things, but how I can change it,
And add something.
add
and
some
something
things,
new.
yes, to make it like a modern, not specifically like modern, but something just reminds that part, but it's something new.
And that's that's a very interesting perspective from your individual definition of what is creativity and how it's linked to innovation.
Yeah.
Maybe would you like to comment on it from your individual definition of creative industries versus crafts and versus innovation, or would like to take it from an industry, for example, definition? Yeah.
Okay, so essentially, I think that handicrafts are basically handmade products, right?
Yeah.
And most of the times they're created with very simple tools, and they go back to culture and tradition. While the creative industries is so much bigger than that. So actually, I think that to a certain degree, the handicrafts industry kind of it plays a role in both the cultural sector as well as the creative sector. But I think that the fact that this particular conversation is mostly about handicrafts is very particular, and I kind of love the fact that we're starting there, because I think that we need to kind of take it back a little bit and realize.
So we can go forward.
Yeah.
And I remember that you both had a visit to the National Museum.
We're
Yes.
actually a part of a program
Yes.
that's going to be happening for the next 3.5 months.
Yes.
So this program essentially is about us taking our art practice and infusing more of our cultural identity into that.
So is this part of your thought of that, culturally, you need to go back and find maybe inspiration so that you move creativity and art forward?
I think that essentially whenever you make art that actually matters, the art reflects the time that you live in, and it also has traces of the culture that you come
Yes.
from. I think it's really important because it's sort of like people being able to see a mirror of themselves represented in that artwork.
Yes.
And as a local, in Armani, I feel like a lot of my art kind of lacks that. You can definitely see traces of that with
Yes.
maybe the patterns that I use, but essentially you would think that you wouldn't necessarily be able to pinpoint that I'm particularly Armani. So for me, I think this is one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this program, and to be able to infuse my culture into my artwork, as well as just use the archives that they have at the museum, which is the most exciting part.
Well, all the
I
best,
love that
inshallah.
museum.
It's amazing that you are taking this broad perspective into, creating beautiful things for the future. You wanted to add something to the point of finding the inspiration for creative, being creative.
Yes.
Please.
I think people, when they think about the culture, mostly in the art field,
Yes.
they thinking you have, when they say, okay, make something related to your culture, always they think, okay, culture is this, and they want to copy this. But always, I'm saying we have to train our mind and our eyes to see things little bit different, and little bit see everything from the top, and think how we can see these things. I had a solo exhibition, it was in March, about the coins. The general things was about the coins, and it happens when I was in a museum one day, National Museum, I wanted to see the coins and currency section. But the light, I really love the coins, the old coins. The lighting was really bad. I tried to take a picture, but the picture was so bad. Then I asked the gentleman, do you have any brochures, any things I can use it? They said, yeah, if you send the email, you can find, maybe they will send you the picture. I came home and I was thinking, okay, I think there are lots of people out there like me, they love coins. And I really love coins, but they're tiny and they're small. Some of them, even because of they're that much old, you cannot see what's written and what's the shape. And I was thinking, okay, as an artist, what I can do, what I can add. Then it came to my mind, why not I made them in a bigger size and show the beauty of it, Then I went to the National Central Bank. They have the currency museum, and I found them and I start to make. So this was, I think, my jobs about what if I do, what I can do for this point, I think for me it was so big jobs, just to make it. And it's happened since 2018. I was working, and then during the COVID, because I had more times, I finished it. So I think we should train ourselves just not to see everything as a normal things. Every single thing can be new things and can be something. You can change it with your creativity. You can create something new, something big, And so, all the visitors, they tell me, "Oh, this is very nice. How you reach that point?" I said, "It just happened, And I was just thinking about it, and then I said, "Okay, I can do this." So, the point I always want to say to, as a teacher, you know, and to my student, it's what you want to add to this, you know, what you want to add to your culture, what you want to add to the craft or handicraft or the art which is belongs to your country, you know, what we have to add.
وذكرتي نقطة مهمة جدا، إنه حتى الفنان يحتاج إنه دائما يبني قدراته، وإنه دائما ينظر وإنه في كل قطعة فنية ممكن إنها تكون مصدر إلهام لعمل فني أكبر. الآن في نفس هذا السياق، كيف ممكن إنه ننتقل بمنظومة الفن، منظومة الصناعات الإبداعية لآفاق أرحب؟ تكلمنا عن بعض التحديات واللي ممكن تكون لها حلول، إذا طبقت هذه الحلول ممكن إنها تساعد الفنانين على الإبداع أكثر. So we mentioned in the preparation for this session that there are ways, if implemented properly, they could help all the artists and craft people to build a better art environment and to make better artists and better contributors to the creative industry. So what would you say are some of the challenges that can be turned into potential and opportunities and solutions?
I have to think about this question.
Yes.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you
go
can
ahead.
answer.
Okay, so I think one is cross collaboration.
Cross collaborations.
Also, cross cultural exchanges.
Yes.
Not necessarily more regionally than anything else.
Yes.
You know, bringing in more influence from the region. Also, programs where we can actually create platforms for artists, and I think that a lot of people have attempted to do this in certain ways, but I think that they abandon them at some point just because the creative industry in Oman, or I mean, you keep saying the handicrafts industry, right? So what I was trying to say earlier is that we need to kind of take it a step back, because this is a really, really large industry that has so many different cultural players that could be adding to the economy of Oman, right?
فذكرتي أولاً إنه لازم يكون عندنا التعريف اللي يتناسب أكثر مع روح العصر ومع الفن، وإنه يكون منصات تعاونية إقليمية قبل إنها تكون عالمية. ولكن أيضاً يعني سؤال آخر له علاقة بهذا الموضوع، هل بيئة الأعمال حالياً وبيئة التراخيص مشجعة لنقل المعرفة، نقل وتشجيع الجيل الجديد على أنه يدخل في مجال الصناعات الإبداعية والصناعات الحرفية؟ هل البيئة مشجعة؟ إيش اللي ممكن يعني يجعل من هذه البيئة أكثر تشجيعاً؟
Yeah, I think that essentially it would be to create more awareness of the importance of creativity and how that can really push businesses forward. I think that whenever anything that's creative is looked at from a monetary value, it's always seen as something that is unnecessary because sometimes it's not tangible. Like for example, you can easily see marketing and social media as an extension of the creative industries or event planning. These are all other
parts of the
parts
same
of
stuff.
it, exactly. But whenever those things are kind of, you know, put with an actual number, because they can't really feel it, automatically it's kind of. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I want to answer this properly because I'm like thinking about two different things. We're editing this, right?
Yes.
We can edit that part. Okay. Wait. So, how can we encourage? Okay, I think that essentially trying to understand the value of creativity is essential. So instead of it only being about the cultural producers, that we need to start valuing that in our own organizations.
How so?
From the sense of like creative thinking, for example,
Yes.
when people start to actually put a value to creative thinking, automatically you start to really revere and put artists at a higher standard.
Right.
Because in order for us to do anything, like what you were saying, about taking something that's already there, something that we've been doing for years, like basket weaving, but then taking that and elevating it, you know, and doing something new, that takes time.
Yes.
So it's almost like people don't realize that the time that it takes in order to innovate also should have a monetary value. And it's not just the final product, whether it's tangible or intangible.
Yes.
It's a part of the creative process.
Can I add something?
Sure, please.
And I'm thinking also there are lots of people out there, I mean in Oman, I'm talking about my field as a ceramist. There are lots of people out there which I don't know. So, but if we have a society, you know, about like we have like one fine art society, but if we have like a ceramist society, something that everyone can have access as a ceramist, you know, then we can learn from each other, and because we can see each other, we can exchange our idea and the competition will come up.
Yes.
And then we can start just to do something new, and then we can improve it.
Yes.
The Fine Art Society is closed there.
Yeah.
It got absorbed by the Photography Society, so they're all one society.
Yes. I think it can also help, you know, if we want to, as an artist, if we want to change things, we cannot isolate ourselves, you know. But I'm thinking, you know, we have to be together, because as much as I can teach, I can learn also. So as much as we be connected together, so together we can change things, you know, we can bring something new. It can get from the culture, from the like Omani culture, and with our thought, with our idea, we can change it, we can create something new. We have to create actually something new. Yeah, I can just suggest this one.
I think that I have one more thing that might also help make a difference. So one of my interests was looking into different countries and looking at like the overall arts culture that they have. So I learned that actually culture has 5 different aspects to it. It's art, it's fashion, food, literature. Always forget the last one. Literature, food, art, music.
Music.
Yeah, music.
Yes.
So can we go over them again?
Yeah. So it's music,
fashion,
art, food, and literature.
And literature.
Literature, yes.
Yeah.
So this is quite a wide net.
It is.
Yes.
And it's so funny, right? Because most of the time, whenever we think about culture, it's almost like the word culture and tradition are kind of so intertwined that we can't tell what the distinction is.
Yes.
But culture and tradition both separately inform each other, but they are separate things, you know? And if tradition holds us back, then that means that culture is also going to stay stagnant and it's not going to move forward.
So you think artists should find their own interpretation of both, and should find inspiration in both also?
I mean, artists don't necessarily just reinvent from culture, right?
Yes.
They reinvent from themselves.
Yeah.
Like, it just depends on what their inspiration is. But when we talk about things like handicrafts, I think that that allowing themselves to go outside
and think out of the box.
Yeah, outside the lines of tradition and the things that they've always seen and the specific shapes that they've always used.
Yeah.
It's kind of important in order for there to be any sort of innovation.
And sometimes it is said that maybe it is also that the society as a whole does not invest much in not only in the art scene but also in culture. Are you satisfied with the level of investment in the creative industry? And
I think that the creative industry has definitely been neglected. I think that if there is any subsector, because I think that there are lots of subsectors, that maybe the handicrafts sector is probably the most one that has had any sort of
focus. Yeah.
Because it goes back to tradition, and Oman is very proud of the tradition that it's built and
Yes.
the culture, which is amazing. And honestly, like, this is something that I'm also proud of. But what I would like highlighted more, and what really does need more focus, attention, and funding, is the greater part of the creative sector.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, if people actually knew what the creatives are doing, they would be so surprised. I would go as far as to say that some of the creative people in Oman are probably some of the most creative in the region.
And
It's a huge statement,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
I stand by it.
Yeah.
And what makes you say that? Is it the reception from the society? Is it the why do you think that the creatives that you came across are at that level?
I think that we're sort of marginalized. We're not doing things that go according necessarily to the culture or to tradition, and it's difficult because you get a reception that sometimes you welcome, sometimes people don't even notice that you're even there. There's also like a very small portion of
Resistance.
I mean, there's definitely resistance, but for the most part, I'm more concerned about the people who do actually have a platform and who do get recognition. They're the same faces. They also tend to not even be the most innovative or
Yes.
creative, or they tend to be the people who actually have the funding to be able to force that
Themselves.
platform to,
So
to
what would you advise both, the society and the creatives to move towards a more, it's really great news that we have that level of creatives,
Yeah.
but like you pointed,
Yeah.
perhaps without the right recognition, the right investment, we are not really realizing their potential.
I think that there's a lot of work that needs to happen internally, because Armanis are beautiful people, but I think we also tend to be afraid of the other and things that we don't know, things that are foreign. And in order for creatives to be able to do the work that they want to do, there needs to be a certain amount of freedom for them to explore. It's not something that's usually supported. So from the perspective of society, I think there needs to be a level of openness, because art has the potential to open people's eyes
Yeah.
to realities that we don't know.
Yeah.
It reimagines the current state, and it's sometimes called a soft power.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
doesn't scream, but when you actually see it and
It
when
makes
you
an impact.
understand it, exactly, on a human level, and it does that on so many different levels. It questions your morals, it questions the way that you believe the world to be, and it's beautiful. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm really obsessed with being a creative person, and why I have a vested interest in seeing creatives flourish here.
Yes, and يعني ذكرتي نقاط شيقة جدا، انه واحدة من المهام النبيلة للفن انه يفتح اعين الناس على الجمال وعلى الاشياء اللي احيانا نحن ما ممكن انه نلاحظها بالنظرات الطبيعية المجردة. وذكرتي ايضا انه يعني من المهم جدا انه يكون في رعاية للفنانين، وخصوصا الفنانين اللي موجودين حوالينا والفنانين اللي في المنطقة والفنانين اللي في السلطنة، لأنه بعضهم ممكن يكون عندهم الفرصة أنهم يكونوا نفسه حتى أفضل من مستوى الفن في الدول الأخرى، ولكن يحتاجون إنه الرعاية والاهتمام والفهم المناسب. Do you have the same or similar views on how we can take the creatives to the next level?
How we have to do it to the
Yes.
next level? I think by training.
Training.
Yes, I think training, it's really, really important. I reached to this point because every day I was practicing.
Yes.
Since 16 years ago, when I graduated till now, every day I'm practicing.
Do some people sometimes think that arts and creativity is easy?
They think it's easy. For me, it's happened. Sometimes they think it's easy. No, not me. Some people, they think it's easy.
Do you think that they think that it's easy, or they just think that it's easy for you?
No, they thinking it's easy. They think it's easy. It's happened for me because they come to my class, you know, and they think it's easy, especially with the wheel. When you
Yes.
want to do the things, I mean, make anything with the wheel, why they think it's easy? Because, okay, you will open the YouTube or the Google and you find out, you know, lots of like videos, people they sitting by the wheel and they making, when you watch you think it's easy and they think it's easy. But when you come to the class and when you sit by the wheel, when they will start, then they will realize, oh my God, there are lots of things behind it. And you have to practice. I think with training, always I'm saying with training, you can reach to the point, but with training.
يعني في رأيك لا تعتقدي إنه التكنولوجيا ووجود التوتوريالز ووجود كل هذه الدورات اللي موجودة يعني على الإنترنت أن تعوض الجانب أن يجب على الفنان أن يظل أن يدرب نفسه ويبني قدراته. So you believe that it is not enough for you just to use social media and technology and tutorials to
it's good.
become an artist or creative.
No, it's good. You have to use, I mean, I'm as an artist, I'm using all these things.
Yes.
But it's not enough.
It's not a substitute for training and taking it seriously.
Yes.
I think that you can. Look, I believe that in today's world, there are so many different ways of being able to get to where you want to. Even like going in the traditional trajectory of like a career, it's completely changed.
Yeah.
Artists don't have to go through a gallery anymore.
Yeah.
I can literally just have a platform on social media and use that platform in order for me to pave a whole career for myself.
Yeah, I think it depends in which field, I mean, for the art. For example, for me, it's not just enough to watch. I have to practice.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, that they can watch things online.
Yeah, of
and
course.
They can practice.
Yes, this is the, sometimes, you know, because nowadays I don't have access to all my masters, you know, because they're, I don't know where they are. But yeah, I'm learning through the videos, through the thing, but I have to practice, yeah. I mean, just watching is not enough. And also, you have to be patient.
Yeah.
This is also, we have to add.
Yeah.
You have to be patient because everything, I mean, you have to practice, you have to be patient, you know, practice, patient, and then you will reach to that point.
And would you say it is the same, these two main, competencies, you know, being trainable and also being patient, apply for this new space of digital art? Because, you know, just as someone who's not experienced with art, digital art now, you have programs, you have apps that might make it easier for you to create some new pieces.
Yes.
Is it also the same principles apply, training and patience, or are there others also?
I think yes, because I'm not good with the apps. For me, if I want to use the app, oh my God, you know, I think that digital artist people, they are so, talented.
Yes.
For me, I think they are so talented because it's really hard. Even if you want to use the app, you have to
be an
practice.
artist, to have the creativity,
yes,
to have the talents.
Not about just the artists. I
Yes.
mean, you have to have patience. You know, it's not just coming the second day. Yes, and practicing.
So I'm a digital artist, so I can
Yes,
say
please.
For you, it's
From
easy, but
experience.
for me, it's
But
hard.
this is the thing that I wanted to get at. When I first started, I didn't know what I was doing either. Like nobody knows what they're doing until
Yeah.
they start doing it and they have patience to realize that this is not gonna happen in a day.
Yeah.
I think that it's also kind of relative to the age. You know, the young ones, they pick things up so quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy. But yeah, it took me a while, even when it came to like me trying to find my signature style. All of these things happen alongside with me learning how to use the app.
Yeah.
And really, I would say that it took me about a year and a half to actually understand how to use it. And every day I'm learning something new that could have taken hours away from me, like, you know,
Yeah.
sitting there and trying to figure out how to draw. So
زين كيف ممكن المجتمع انه يعظم الاستفاده من المبدعين والفنانين سواء في المجال الحرفي او المجال الصناعات الابداعيه حسب التعريف. لانه المجتمع يحب انه كل صناعه ان يكون لها تسجيل معين، ان يكون لها ترخيص، ان يكون لها طريقه اعتراف معين من المجتمع، مكان ممكن يكون محدد. هل الفنان المبدع في هذا المجال، في المجال الإبداعي، هل يجب أن يكون مسجل وأن القيمة اللي يضيفها في المجتمع أن تكون موجودة تحت ترخيص محدد؟
I think that this is such a beautiful question that you asked, and it's one that we ask ourselves constantly, especially because we're in the digital age. The digital age definitely gives us so many other parameters in which to work in that an artist literally has the choice.
Yeah.
And I think every artist needs to make it for themselves and what they want to do with their career. Do you want to have more agency over yourself and over your career? You don't have to go through a traditional gallery. You don't have to get recognition or wait to get recognition. And I think what's unfortunate is that I see most of the artists in Oman feeling like they need to take that second
route,
alternative route.
And establish a brick and mortar
Not necessarily, because a brick and mortar also comes with its own finances.
Yes.
Most of the artists, as you know, are people who are constantly just experimenting,
Yes.
right? And that experimentation doesn't start with you noticing that there's a certain style that you like. That can also keep evolving.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing that people might be shocked to hear is that art materials are expensive.
It is.
They are
Yes.
so being an artist is very expensive, you know. So even like going back to like digital artwork, it makes things so much easier because once you have like your tools in order to work, it's easier for you to keep churning that out.
So what can we do here to remove this barrier between creativity, creatives, and them, you know, experimenting all the way to reaching to a stage where they can turn this into a lifestyle?
Yeah. So I think we kind of brushed upon that a little bit earlier when we were talking about establishing a business versus having a creative license.
Yes.
So having a creative license actually opens up a whole way of artists being able to establish themselves.
Yes.
Because Omani, okay, so the Omani public, they definitely do like to support people who they see have been having some sort of recognition from any kind of like institution.
Yes.
Right? The institutions that we have here are very few and far
Yes.
between. They pay attention to a very select few artists.
Yes.
And this is the reason why the digital platforms have completely opened it up for us, right?
Very interesting.
And the fact that it's open for us, that just means that there's also more possibility for us to be able to connect with people.
So you would say that the digital age أو يعني نقدر نقول إنه العصر الرقمي مكن حتى الفنان الفرد إنه يقدم أعماله للمجتمع لنفسه وللسوق بصورة أسهل، لأنه أزال بعض الحواجز اللي بينه وبين السوق اللي كان ممكن أنها فقط في يد يعني المؤسسات اللي متمكنة أو اللي عندها الإمكانيات المادية. And now, is this trend ongoing because of the digital age? Will we see more unlocking of the potential of individual creatives?
For sure. And I think that, I don't know if you've ever heard of NFTs.
Yes.
I really wish that
الرموز غير قابلة للاستبدال.
Yes. And I really wish that I had more ways of being able to talk to you about it, but I'm also near to it. As a digital artist, it's something that I definitely have to consider, because what it does is it gives artists more majesty over their work. So for example, if you created a piece of artwork, let's say that you created this beautiful sculpture, right? As soon as you sell the sculpture, the owner is going to be the person who bought it off you.
Yes.
You have no rights to the pomegranate after it's been sold to the next person. But with the NFT, a certain percentage is always going to go back to the artist. And the artist is always going to be the person who is the owner of that artwork. So they're doing that not just with painters or digital artwork, they're also doing that with music. So it's opening up a whole new avenue and a whole way of thinking. Obviously, this is a bit more advanced. A bit more advanced than I can actually have a conversation about.
Yes, and you know, it seems to be يعني a nascent technology. وأحيانا مثل هذه التقنيات الرقمية الجديدة في الثورة الصناعية الرابعة، مثل الرموز غير القابلة للاستبدال أو الأعمال الفنية الأصلية التي يمتلكها أصحابها ويبقون حقوق الملكية معهم، أو ما يسمى بالنون فانجبل توكنز. وحتى بدأت في بعض المؤسسات المحلية في السلطنة بدأ بعض الفنانين بتسجيل NFTs أو رموز غير قابلة للاستبدال. فمتى إن شاء الله سنرى الأول NFT للفنانة شيماء أميا؟ When are we going to see your first NFT?
Soon.
So like the NFTs actually goes back to what we've had conversations about, like the copyright.
Yes.
For artists, this is a way that artists can have control over that, because that's everything, isn't it?
Yes.
That once you sell your copyright to another entity, then you can't actually collect from the labor of your thinking, of your time.
Yes, and you know, and هذا يعني ياخذنا الموضوع مهم جدا. قيمة الأعمال الفنية. كثير من الناس في المجتمع يرى إنه قيمة الأعمال الفنية أحياناً غير ثابتة، فممكن إنها تكون عالية جداً بصورة ما ممكن للإنسان العادي إنه يفهم ليش القيمة عالية، وممكن إنه بعض الأعمال الفنية ما تعطى قيمتها الحقيقية. فهل تغير الوضع في فترة التعافي من كوفيد؟ هل أصبحت قيمة الفن يعني معقولة أكثر؟ Is the value of whether it's NFTs or normal art, has it become more reasonable, you know, from a you know a spectator view?
You want the honest answer?
Yes, please.
No. A banana can be millions and millions of dollars just because they stuck it on a wall and it was done by a particular artist.
والناس فعلا دفعوا ملايين للصورة فقط لأنها أصلية. And is this healthy for the creative industry?
Okay, so definitely these kind of trends and these things that are happening in the art world, they're not really like the best reflection of what artists have to offer, but it does bring in a lot of interesting questions that go back to the art world. And one of the reasons why art education is so important, because it really makes you think, like, is this art?
Yes.
Why should this be considered art? Is
مسؤولية من تعليم الفن? Who is responsible for art education?
Every individual.
مش المؤسسات التعليمية, not the universities, the schools.
I mean, art education it can be a degree, it could be a hobby, an interest. If somebody is interested in art and they see something that they like, it's up to them to be able to follow why that art piece has value. You know?
And spoke to them, yes.
Exactly. Why did it speak to them, or even why did it outrage them? Why did it upset them? You know, because art is going to bring up so many different emotions, and it depends on what you're looking at.
Yes.
So I think that it's definitely something that's really important for our country to also have a healthy amount of art education, but I think that it's also the responsibility of everybody to actually look and actually see what's around them, because I find it really sad that most people don't even know where the art galleries are in Oman, for example.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's actually very reductive for me to say Oman. It's Muscat, let's be honest.
Yeah, Muscat.
The rest of Oman doesn't really have any
the
art galleries.
yeah.
But even within this place, like, people need to know that going to an art gallery is free.
Yes.
It's free. It
Yeah.
doesn't cost you any money whatsoever. You know, trying to understand the reason why art pieces are priced the way that they are, it also goes back to the artist. You might think that this is a simple pomegranate, but did you know that it took her 16 years to be able to make that?
Yeah.
You know?
Very interesting point.
Yeah. It's all about training, and actually it's about how we see ourselves as an artist, I think. Because we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean, you know, be an artist, what does it mean? Because some people, they think if they have a brush and paint, they are a painter, or if they have like a camera, they are a photographer, or if they have a clay, they are a ceramist. They don't have the vision of why I call myself I'm a ceramist. Why? Because just I have like a studio, I will call myself ceramist. You know, I think this is the question all the artists, they have to ask about themselves. You know, all these whys
Yes.
brings up lots of things.
So is the banana on the wall an art?
Yes, yes.
Is it
This
in
is
the
the idea. This
Somebody
is the
bought
idea.
it as artwork, so yes.
Yeah, this is the idea. I mean, how you can be an artist without the idea and without the creativity.
So another like really interesting question is, if you are a visionary, if you have the vision and you have the creativity to be able to direct other people to make the art, are
Yeah.
you an artist?
Yes, in some point you can be an artist also.
You
It
did
has a
not
big,
touch-
yeah,
You did not touch
yeah.
anything.
ولكن كنت أنت الموجه، وكنت المشجع، وكنت المدرب، وكنت
Yeah.
You're the
المحفز.
one. Yes,
فهل تعتبر فنان؟
exactly.
Yes.
يعني الآن للسؤال الأخير، لو قدر يعني لك أنه تعطي الحرية باقتراح عدد من المقترحات التي ستنفذ فورا وستحسن من منظومة الفن والصناعات الإبداعية، وإيش هذه المقترحات الملموسة اللي يعني تنفيذها؟ If you had a magic wand but you had to make very concrete changes, what would these changes be?
Are you like a magic genie? Do I get 3?
Yes, let's say they are three.
Number 1, creative license.
نعم.
Number 2, I think like a creative
فترخيص مهني خاص للصناعات الإبداعية.
creative hub, a place where you have all sorts of facilities and an infrastructure in order to jumpstart having a creative ecosystem, because it is an ecosystem
يعني
that has to feed
مثل
into each other.
حاضنة ومسرعة ويعني مكان يجمع فيه المهتمين بالصناعات الإبداعية.
And I think that's like 10 wishes on its own, but I'm
Yes.
going to take the third one as
Third
well.
one.
I think the third one is maybe to have like a special fund,
Yes.
a special fund for artists that works as like a fund so that they can support different
Yeah.
initiatives.
النقطة اللي ذكرتوها وشددتوا عليها اللي اللي تغرس تدريب في وتعطيهم الفرص أيضا.
But it's half and half. It's half actually like going and getting practical like experience and getting taught by a teacher, as well as support for the projects that they want to get done.
You know, everything here mostly happening individual.
Yes.
You know, I think we should, as an artist, you know, all of us, we are artists, of course, in different fields. We need to have a place we can share, you know. For example, for me, I really like to have someone to train me about the things which I don't know, you know. So I can invite, you know, the masters, but I have to do it individual, you know.
Yes.
Why not we have a place, because there are lots of people like me, there are ceramist artists here, or crafters which maybe even they don't have the, I don't know, the license or...
But they are artists.
They are artists, you know. But why not? We are not giving them the opportunity to just change their level, you know. Always they were in like a same level. Why not just to go further, just to go up, to be more professional? You know, for me, I think, I agree with you, but what if we have a place which can brings the professional teachers, professional peoples, that we can learn from them, you know. I think training, and it's really important, especially nowadays. Every day something's new, every day something's new, every day something's new, and we're just experimenting, experience.
You actually have like a great point. It is super important, because it's true that we don't really have access to that many masters for us to be able to really say that we're on the level that we'd like.
Yes.
Which kind of goes back to why I was defending like online learning, because like I learned most of the things on my own, right? Like I'm a self-taught artist. I didn't really get the opportunity to get taught by masters.
It's good to learn online, but for the art you cannot learn 100% online. You need action. You need, you know, because you have to practice. Especially for me as a ceramist artist, for example, for some techniques you cannot do it online. You cannot do it online. You can watch what they're doing, but you have to experience. You have to be in the field. Yes.
بهذه يعني النصائح القيمة وبهذه العصا السحرية، أعتقد إنه جميل جدا إنه يكون الحوار مستمر، وأطلع إنه تكون في ملاحظات وفي آراء قيمة وفي مقترحات أخرى عن كيف نستطيع أن نحدث نقلة نوعية في الصناعات الحرفية إلى عالم الصناعات الإبداعية الأرحب. كانت هذه جلسة شيقة وتعلمنا فيها إنه الآن تعريف الصناعات الحرفية يحتاج نظرة جديدة ونظرة أخرى اللي ممكن أنها تنقله إلى عالم الصناعات الإبداعية. وتعلمنا أيضا أنه نحتاج إلى مكان يجمع مسرعة وحاضنة اللي ممكن أنها تساعد على نقل المعرفة ما بين الفنانين والمهتمين بالصناعات الإبداعية، وأنه أيضا نحتاج إلى صندوق تمويلي ويستثمر في تدريب ويستثمر في نقل المعرفة ما بين المهتمين بالصناعات الإبداعية وبالفنانين بصورة عامة. هذه كانت تجربة مثرية، عن أيضا تعلمنا عنها عن تقنية ال NFT أو Non Fungible Tokens، وكيف أنها بدأت تغير نظرة الفن والحقوق الملكية الفكرية. أيضا أشكر الضيفتين، الفنانة شيماء أميا، مديرة ومؤسسة أميا آرت للتدريب وأيضا للأعمال الفنية، وأشكر شكر خاص أيضا للفنانة عائشة البكري، وهي فنانة مهتمة جدا بالتقنيات الجديدة في الفن، واحدة من 4 مشاركين في بودكاست I am Outcast. نشجعكم أيضا للاطلاع عليه. شكرا جزيلا لكل المتابعين على اطلاع هذه الحلقة، وفي انتظار آرائكم وملاحظاتكم القيمة بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى. Thank you very much for my really distinguished guests, Amia Art, the director and the co-founder of Amia Art. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much, Aisha, for البكري, for being with us. And I hope that you'll be able to follow her I Am Outcast podcast with 3 other participants as well. Thank you so much from me, Khalid Hreibi, and from the team. I would like also to thank Alaaddin and Islami Gallery, and I would also like to thank عمق for being our directors, and the team, Ms. Samira Subhi, and in the preparation of the program, and Ms. Anwar Al-Bimani, and of course the Authority for Public Authority for SMEs, هيئة تنمية المؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة. شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you have a lot more to say.
Of course.
So much to
Yeah,
say.
of course.
I